another tech day live. Now, I remember in the last episode starting my work on langchain, and I want to continue it here because I think I abruptly stopped it. Let me just open Visual Studio Code. No, do I even need code? Do I even need code? I need my tablet. That's the one thing I need. I need my terminal, and then I go to projects, langchain, maybe with the lowercase, it's lowercase, langchain app. Okay, now we have everything here. And if I just want to check if we have anything here, we don't. So langchain app, I'm gonna open it, and here we have apologies. Here we have our environment. So let me just quickly explain the project layout that we have generated here by UV. When this is our local virtual environment, what we will have here is most probably our installed dependencies. They will be isolated from the system level Python. And everything we add via UV add will be here somewhere, including I think we installed langchain the last time, so it should be here somewhere. Langchain and all the accompanying. Can I increase this a bit? Maybe like this. Langchain and all the accompanying libraries. Git ignore. This is just a text file telling it which files to ignore when committing. Python version. This specifies which Python interpreter version the project expects. What do we have here? 3.12. Okay. If we have a friend or a teammate open this repo, it will switch to this version of Python. Main.py. This is our entry point script. It's the heart of our app. We can run it by running. Where's my? It's here. So if I do uv run python main.py, I would execute the whole project, but I will start in this file. Later, when we initialize our langchain project, we'll, I don't know, initialize our LLMs, we will define our chains or agents, pipelines, things like that. Py project. This is the project configuration dependency file. It mostly contains metadata like the name of the app, the version, the description, where the readme is, what dependencies it has. It's used by UV, so UV will actually depend on this to know what dependencies to install. And I could do here my first langchain app. README, Markdown, documentation for humans. Currently it's empty, but usually this will contain a summary of our project. And UV lock, this is a big file. It freezes all of our dependencies to our exact versions, which is good because everyone will get the same environment. When someone else clones our repo, they can just run UV sync and they will get the same setup as we do. Now, I won't actually run. Can I open this again? I need to integrate OpenAI via langchain, and I need to handle and set up environment variables. Why isn't the OpenAI package shipped together with langchain? It's because Python is built to be modular. We only import the libraries that solve specific problems and libraries that we need to solve specific problems initially. So we have our langchain project, and we will use the following. And we will use the following variables here. The following packages. Langchain, which is the core framework for, let me just switch back to my screen copy, to my tablet. Langchain, which is the core framework for LLMs, for LLM orchestration. We already have this one. We are going to also use langchain dash OpenAI, which is a specific vendor package that adds OpenAI integrations, models like GPT-5 and things like that. And a way to load secret environments. And for that, I'm going to use Python.env. So let's install all of these bad boys here. Again, UV add langchain OpenAI and Python.env. And we have all of these packages now installed. Both of these packages are now installed into our virtual environment. And if I go back here to Py project file, we already have here. Everything is updated. Next thing, I'm going to create a new file. It's going to be called .env, and then I'm going to say open a API key. My key. I'm going to edit this later off screen, of course. I don't want anyone to use my API key here. And this file shouldn't be tracked with Git, should it? But it shouldn't. I don't plan on pushing it even, but in case if I would to push it to a remote repository, I would definitely include it to git ignore. I did it right now. So let's load our environment in our code. But first things first, you need to go to OpenAI platform. I'm not going to show you that because again, I don't want to show you my API key, but you Google OpenAI platform, you log in, you will most probably need to pay $5 or $10 to set up a certain amount of credits so you can use OpenAI's platform. But after you do this, you just copy the key. And let me just see if I have the key here somewhere. Yeah, take your first steps with OpenAI API. The OpenAI API provides a simple interface to state-of-the-art AI models for text generation, natural language processing, computer vision, and more. Get started by creating an API key and running your first API. Cool. I'm reading this from their official site. So here it says, create and export an API key. I will, but I just want to see if I already have one. I think I already have one. Do I have an API key somewhere? API keys. I do have one, so I'm just gonna delete the one that I have. I'm gonna create another one. Dashboard. So what I'm doing, I'm just clicking off screen, setting everything up. API keys, create new secret key. Langchain project, create secret key. Done. Okay, now I have my key here. I'm just gonna copy it off screen here. And now in my main.py, let me close all the other files. Now, in my main.py, I just want to make sure I have the API key set up properly and I have the .env library working properly. So what I'm gonna do from .env import load import, not import, import load.env, import os from langchain OpenAI, import chat OpenAI, load.env. With this command, we are loading environment variables from env. If I would load everything that is found in env. Let me just do the API key as well. API key is os get env open AI API key. Let's now initialize a model LLM. This is gonna be chat OpenAI model. I'm gonna use GPT 4o mini. API key is API key. And let's create a response. Response is equal to LLM invoke. Hello. Can you tell me who is the most successful European football club? Let's say this is a pretty interesting question. I'm gonna print the response. I'm gonna remove everything else, and now I should run it. But let me just make sure I have my usage proper. What's my budget here? And now, if I run this, I should get a message back. UV run Python main py. The API key client option must be either set by passing API key to the client. OpenAI API key. Let me just check off screen again. I made a mistake there. I didn't name my variable properly, and now I don't think I will have any hurdle. I have hurdles. Why? Incorrect API key provided. You must be kidding me. Again, off screen. Platform OpenAI accounts API key. Let me try to see what's wrong here. API keys. Can I copy it? Ah, shit. Okay, I know what I did. I just copied my key together with that placeholder, my key, and it wasn't working. Now it will work. Unless I didn't pay the money for it. Ah, I did. As of October 2023, the most successful European football club in terms of official trophies is Real Madrid. The club has won a significant number of domestic league titles, domestic cups, and European competitions, including a record number of UEFA Champions League titles. That's it. And how much money did it jerk from me? Usage, let's see. Last 7 days. All right, I have my card here. I have everything set up. Limits usage. Let's see. What is today? The October 8th. Let me show you. So this is my dashboard. Get free tokens on traffic shared with OpenAI. Maybe some other time. So it doesn't show me how much. Can I just see for today? 6 to 8. Total requests 0. Even though I just handled the request. Okay, maybe it takes some time to update this. But what we just did, we ran our first query, our first our first query from langchain to OpenAI servers. Right. Let's continue asking some good questions. Let me go back to my screen copy, and before we continue, let me just go over some concepts. First of all, what's a prompt? A prompt is just, in simple terms, the text we send to an LLM to tell it what to do. And I'm gonna just say text that tells the LLM what to do. Prompts are just instructions, and we use these instructions to guide the AI. Now, there is something specific in langchain. It's called a prompt template. And prompt template is actually a way that langchain uses to build prompts. And these prompts can dynamically insert values. And a small example could be, let's say we have a template. It's a multi-line template. I have 3 of these quotation marks here. And let's say summarize some, I think I don't have the right amount of letters. Summarize the text. And I do put text in quotation marks, in curly braces. And after this, I call my prompt template. And I provide the input variables. And the input variables would be input variables text, and we provide a template as well. Template. And now we can inject text into it like this. We're all gonna write. I'm gonna write this, so don't worry. So let's say I have a prompt, and I click format, and then inside I have my text. And text would be about, I don't know, Real Madrid is blah 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 blah. The whole Wikipedia article about Real Madrid. And we will have an output of this. Don't worry, we are gonna do this later. Another important concept is the temperature, because the temperature controls randomness. Once we cool, let me also say here, temperature, what it does, it controls randomness. It's a value between 0.0 and 1. I mean, it can be higher, but 0.0 is very deterministic. We will get the same output every time. At 0.7, let's say we would get balanced creativity and focus. 1.2 and higher, we will get very creative and chaotic outputs. Chat OpenAI, if you remember, we were using Chat OpenAI right here. It's the langchain wrapper for OpenAI chat models. It makes it easy to interact with different OpenAI models, and it has standardized methods. Instead of Chat OpenAI, we could also do Gemini AI, or maybe some open source models here, and we just replace them, and we just replace the constructors here, and we use everything the same way instead of focusing on how to build different models, reading the documentation and things like that. This makes it really easy to interact not only with OpenAI models but with other ones as well. Langchain is called langchain because it builds chains. It builds flows. Here we don't have a flow. Here we just have a response. And I can here put maybe content. It will just provide me the content. But basically, it builds chains, the sequences of components that process data step by step. We have input, we have prompt template, we have the model, and we have the output. And another thing that we have are the pipes. Let me go back. Pipes connect components together. If you ever worked with Unix, you most probably know about the Unix pipe that we use when we want to grab something. It's basically the same. It's the same syntax. It doesn't behave like same, but it's pretty similar. And in the end, we can also run chain invoke. It's the method that executes the chain and returns the final output. So I load my .env. I have my API keys. That's it when it comes to setuping this. I'm gonna use the same model. I have my API key. I'm just gonna set the temperature to maybe 0.3, which makes quite deterministic. Give me hard facts. And then I can create a template. Oops. Template. What the hell am I doing, brother? What the hell am I doing here? Give me information about the following football club. Give me the most basic. Give me 3-sentence information about the following football club. And I'm gonna say club. Okay. And now I can create a prompt. Prompt is gonna be prompt template. So I need to import it from langchain prompts, import prompt template. I have my input variables, my club, and the template. And then I can chain it. Look at this. Chain. Prompt goes into the LLM. I combine my model and my prompt into a chain. And then I have here, look at this, club. Let's use Liverpool this time. And here I'm gonna say result, chain, invoke, club. It's gonna be club. And then print result content. Will this work? Hopefully it will. Clear this and let's see. Will we get anything about Liverpool Football Club? Liverpool Football Club, founded in 1892, is one of the most successful and storied. I haven't heard about this word before. Clubs in English football based in Liverpool, England. The club has won numerous domestic and international titles, including 1911 league titles and 6 UEFA Champions League trophies, showcasing a rich history of competitive success. Known for their passionate fan base, including home ground, Anfield, Liverpool is also recognized for its famous anthem "You'll Never Walk Alone," which embodies the spirit of unity and resilience amongst supporters. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So our prompt is our text instruction. This is basically our prompt. A prompt template is a reusable prompt with placeholders. Look at this. I have these input variables, and maybe in another scenario I could put here AC Milan or Barcelona. The temperature, it just controls randomness and creativity. If I put here, for example, 0.9, let's see what will happen. Will we get something different? But apart from that, we have the pipe. The pipe just pipes our prompt to our LLMs. It's like a factory. What's the name? Conveyor belt. It goes from point A to point B. And with chain invoke, we actually execute the whole pipeline. And here you see the different response. Now a bit more, how to say, maybe a bit more creative, chaotic. Liverpool Football Club founded is one of the most successful and storied football clubs in England and Europe, based on Liverpool, Merseyside. The club plays its home matches at Anfield, known for its passionate atmosphere and iconic "You'll Never Walk Alone." Liverpool has won numerous domestic and international league titles, including multiple career, establishing itself as a powerhouse in the world of football. Now, it's quite similar, but you can see that this one has a bit more journalistic approach compared to this one, which is more passionate. Okay, let me stop here. I'm gonna continue later. See you. Bye-bye. Okay, let's continue now. Let me open my script here that, again, just generates a simple summary of a football club that we provided. I'm gonna do this. Let me go to my projects. Langchain app. No idea why it's not so deep. And let's run main.py. Yeah, Liverpool Football Club found as one of the most successful football clubs in England and Europe. Just like we did last time. I'm doing this actually a day after, so I'm reminding myself of how this works. Open AI. I just want to see my usage again, because it's weird that I don't. Where is it? Overview queues, default project, usage. These are the docs. I don't want the docs. I want the dashboard. Sorry if you're not seeing this, it's on my other screen. Here it is actually. I can share this hopefully. So I had on October 8th, I had a couple of inputs, a couple of outputs, and today I have another one. Wait. Let me just show you this. Okay. I had a couple of queries here. And the total tokens, it resets in 20 days. I still haven't spent any money, so it's less than $0.01. Okay. Okay, done. Let's continue. Okay, let's do something now. Let's do something interesting. If I put my breakpoint here, and if I run this all again, will it interrupt? It didn't interrupt. Why is my breakpoint not working here? Maybe because I need to run with debug. Debug Python file. Now it works. So it will work. Result content. Okay, it hit it. I want to make sure I understand all of the types that we have here. I'm gonna close the wedge. I'm gonna close the call stack, the globals, not interested in. So what are my local variables? Okay, we have some special variables. We have some functional variables. The API key that you can only see a part of. Hopefully this wasn't the whole key. Let me just check. Um, um, yeah, the full key is quite a fat one. All right. I have some class variables here. All right. I can open, so these are the class variables, but I think I can also open this one right here, which is just, sorry, I have something in my eye, which is just the langchains wrapper around OpenAI's model. Which in this case, basically, I think here we should have a type of GPT-4o mini, most probably. Let me reduce this one. A lot of types here. There must be, yeah. Model name GPT-4o mini, which is the model that we are using. Basically, it's just the response to the way we instantiated it here. Now, as I said, there is the model name, which is the name of the OpenAI model. Most probably here we will have the temperature, which we also provided as well. Should we have max tokens? Currently none. This is the maximum number of tokens that we want to generate. This one is optional. Most probably our API key should be found here somewhere. Okay, I don't want to search for it. What else do we have here? So it doesn't hold any chat history, it doesn't hold any messages. It's just a way to define how to call OpenAI and with what configuration. Most probably here somewhere I should have an API key as well. Special variables. I don't want to search for it, but it's definitely here somewhere. All right, what's the second one? The second one is our prompt template, which is a blueprint for building prompts dynamically. So once we have done this, that we've done here, we are not setting anything to the model just yet. We are creating a template object, all right, a template object that knows what variables are expected, how to format them into a final prompt string. Some important variables here are I should have input variables here. Yeah. Our input variable is the club, which is the club that we will provide afterwards. We should also have the template here somewhere. Yeah, which is basically give me the 3-sentence information about the following football club, which is this. Metadata, which contains any extra info, custom notes we attach, blah, 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 blah. And then, let me close this class as well. We also have the result. So when we run a chain, we get an object of type AI message. It represents a single response message from the LLM in structured form. I think that langchain uses multiple message types to represent conversation turns, but here we are having AI message. So what do we have? We have content, which is the text of the model's reply. This is the most important thing. The type is AI. This indicates that this message is from the AI itself. The ID, which is the optional message ID, it depends on the backend. What else do we have? Tool calls. This one is empty. These are some function calls that would be returned by the model. And it's, again, it's a structured wrapper around the API's response. Okay, I'm happy with the progress I have for now. You know what I wanted? I wanted to comment out the API key, but most probably I will just revoke it before this video hits YouTube. So most probably, yeah, I will do this. I will do it right now, because I want, when it comes to AI, when it comes to langchain, I will do one more thing, and that thing is I will start talking about AI agents, and then I'm gonna stop. But first, let me just revoke this. Let me just revoke this API key, so no one can use it, even though I like put a limit of $5 on it. But you know, $5 is $5. It's a lot of money. API keys. So can I delete? I deleted it. So if I run this again, this shouldn't work now. Oh no, I need to let it run its course. And then if I do this again, yeah, I'm getting an error saying you can find your API key. All right, let me talk now about something else. Let me talk about AI agents. So an agent, most probably when it comes to agents, we will have 100 different definitions of it, because it's still a fresh new concept. But the simplest way to explain it is that an agent is a system that can decide what actions to take next on its own, because it's LLM powered. That's an agent. Because a chain, comparing it to a chain is static, because a chain always runs the same steps. I asked here this chain to give me a summary of what Liverpool Football Club is. It will take the same steps behind the scene, but an agent is dynamic. It decides what to do based on the current context. Basically, an agent will use an LLM as a reasoning engine. It will receive a goal or a task, for example, find the weather and summarize it, or find me all the bugs in this application, or reading these 3 research papers, I'm going to give you a list of symptoms. Please tell me whether the patient possibly has the illness or disease that is being described in the research papers. Also, LLM thinks what tools or actions to use next. It executes these actions. In the case of a weather summarization, it will call a weather API. In case of summarizing research papers, it will most probably do some reasoning behind the scene that handles summarizing research papers. Then it observes the results and it decides what to do next, looping until done, and then it returns the final answer. And this reasoning loop is referred as the react pattern. Reason plus act plus observe plus repeat. Now, as I said, this is called the react pattern. Reason plus act plus observe plus repeat. A simplified version of this, at least, let me open this, at least in code, would be, we can define tools that the agents can use. For example, I can create a method that says get weather, and I can provide the city, and I can say return the weather in city is, I don't know, let's say sunny. And then I say I have tools here. And it's just a simplified version. I can say that one of my tools has a name, and let's call it weather, and the function is called get weather, and I can also maybe set a description, get weather info. And then I can say, of course, you will have some intermediate steps. I can say agent, and we have a method that langchain agent provides. It's called initialize agent. And I can provide here everything, including the tools. Of course, we can have more tools here. Tools, we can say agent type, verbose, and then we just invoke it. Basically, the LLM would analyze the input question and decide that it needs to do this tool, it needs to use this tool, and it summarizes the final answer. I mean, in our case, I just hard-coded my response, but I could also, for example, get def get info, and I can say topic and I can say again return the info on topic is, if I provide AI, I will say it's cutting edge, and I can add another tool right here. I can't write this right now, but I can add another tool right here, and then I can have multiple tools that will be called sequentially, and our agent would summarize the final answer. Okay, I'm gonna stop with this here. And I'm gonna do something else now. I'll close this. I don't need to anonymize or censor my API key because I removed it now. I'm gonna close this. And the next thing I want to do is something back on the topic of Linux. Let me open my Linux document again. My Linux drawing. By the way, I don't know if I can. No, I can't show you this. I can. Here it is. I finished my drawing here. I don't want to post any artwork. I want to show you. As I said, this was made by following a guide. I did do some additions on my own, like, oh no, I messed it up. I created this grainy texture for the sand, and I also made the lady a bit more muscular. I think I might be adding also some waves here, but not now. All right, so this was my drawing. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about system logging in Linux. Now, system logging refers to how the system records events, messages, and errors from services. Now, these logs help us diagnose problems, audit behavior, monitor system activities. In order to define this as short as possible is the way system logs events, messages, and errors. And we know by default, I would know that this helps me diagnose problems, troubleshoot field tasks, monitor the system itself. There are two logging systems which are commonly used. Two logging systems. One of them is called syslog, and the other one is called journald. Syslog is more classic, more old school. Journald is modern, is part of systemd. It stores structure logs in binary formats. Let's see what our system uses. I'm gonna open a new window here. I'll move it here to this bottom right corner, and let's say if journal D is working. Journal ctl, no pager, head. Okay. We have something here. So this command is reading system logs for journald, which is the systemd logging daemon. So we will print everything to the terminal directly, and we are gonna do head, which will show only the first 10 lines. So here we did. So this happened on September 3rd. Which means systemd is booting into its default. Target. These are all like system messages, creating slice sections. All right, not needed, not interesting. What else do I have? Maybe I can just explain the way the messages are structured. They usually include timestamps, host names, which is the name of my computer, process name and process ID, and of course the message. they could be some other components of this, like I don't know, severity, priority, facility, things like that. I don't think we have any here, but it's something to be aware of. Journal CTL. Right. Here again. These are all logs, and it uses a pager. So we have 23 lines. And I could also, if I close this, I could do journal CTLR, which will do this in reverse order. Today is October 11th. And these are all the latest logs that I had on my computer. I could also show logs live by doing journal CTLF. Oh no. I could also do some filtering like journal CTLS, something in the last 4 hours, let's say. I could also filter, for example, I mean, this is, these kinds of actions and filterings are consequential. They happen when you need them. So I don't think it's something that is important. I would like on my own to think about the big picture and why do we use this. Right? Yeah, it makes sense. But basically, you could filter by the time, you could filter by the date, you could filter by the process ID, you could filter by the boot, for example, the current or the previous boot. We could even filter by severity. Maybe this is interesting. Let's do a severity filter. P error. So here are the oldest errors that I have, and some of them are, as you can see, the process name, as you can see the ID as well. What else? Oh yeah, there are several severity levels. I'm gonna write this as well. Severity levels range from 0 to 7, where 0 is a system that is unusable, 1 is where an immediate action is required, 2 is a critical condition, 3 is error condition, 4 is warning, 5 is notice, 6 is informational, and 7 is the bug level information. Let me see if I can filter, for example. No, if I can filter by journal CTL P. Did I have any zeros here? No. Ones? No. So 2s are critical conditions, yeah. Oh, out could not identify password. No idea what happened here. Oh no, I closed it again, but doesn't matter. Now, as you saw, I had logs running from September, from starting of September of this year, and there's an interesting reason why. It's because there's a concept involved in handling logs called log rotation, where the system itself is trying to prevent log files from filling up our disk, because configs live in the etc folder on our system. What happens is that the oldest ones get deleted and newest ones are just rotating, and you can actually trigger log rate manually if you want. But journal D uses binary files. It doesn't use log rotate, and itself manages using these quotas. And you can configure it by doing this. Let me just open another window. I can see the current settings if I do journal D conf. So this is how it is right now. I could, for example, do sudo journal ctl vacuum time 2 weeks, and this will delete the logs that are older than 2 weeks. I could also maybe set vacuum size to 200 megabytes or something similar. We can basically do a lot of configuring on the journal and its files. You know, I could also do a lot of filtering. For example, journal ctl g kernel memory, and I so it should filter for kernel logs with memory in them, but I don't know if it's frozen or some. What? Kernel memory, no. All right, I can check boot logs. Okay, I can also, for example, I don't know why this is not working, but I can view boot logs from the previous boot that happened on October 7th. Okay, I could filter by service, which I tried right now. I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay, I can do reverse journal ctlr head. This is giving me the reverse ones. Invalid argument. I could even watch logs live for a certain service. I could filter, as I said, by time and date, priority and severity. And the way I change the behavior is by going systemd journald conf. And if I edit this file right now, and if I look for system max use, where is it? Max use. If I set here, for example, 200 megabytes, I would limit my log to being 200 megabytes inside. I could even clean them by time, by size, view logs in JSON or export them, and things like that. Okay, this is fun. This is interesting. Let me also stop with this one. And I want to do something else. What are the latest news in the world of technology and IT? Let's take a look if we have anything cool on Reddit. I compiled the fundamentals of the entire subject of computer and computer science in a deck of playing cards. Check the last image too. Can I take a look at it? I designed these 2 decks of cards. It took me 9 months to study and design these. The key is to give a physical product to anyone curious in the fields of computers and electronics that helps him, her, to get a complete overview of field in an organized, engaging, and colorful manner. Request for checking the complete project. Joker cards is supporting it on Kickstarter here. Yeah, I mean, interesting, beautiful, good for a gimmick. Can't see this being very useful to me, to be honest. I agree with this. It's not something that is. It's not something that will someone use to help them study. Consider a non-tech person, say a photographer, who wants to get basic knowledge of computers and electronics. I mean, I one of plastic cards, good one. I love. Who is this guy? I mean, okay, I don't want to infer. So we have algorithms. An algorithm is a finite sequence of clear steps that converts inputs into outputs. Keep in mind, I know what an algorithm is. Most probably you know what an algorithm is. So you seeing this, and you know what the concept of algorithm is. And you see this, you say, okay, so it starts, it has some inputs, it checks if A is equal to B. If it's true, it prints A is equal to B, and otherwise, A is bigger than B. True, false, B is the maximum, A is the maximum, prints the maximum. Someone who doesn't know what this means will take a look at this and say, what? Oh, why? How this works? Even if someone understands how this works, I think it would be a lot more helpful to them to be aware on a theoretical and practical level how it works and why the chart and the infographic does what it does. Because you can learn this, you can understand this even if you are not technically proficient, let's say. You can understand this, but what is the knowledge you can gain from this? And same thing with algorithm complexity. Shows how time or steps increase as the input gets bigger. For example, this. I don't know much about displays. I don't know much about trends. And now I look at these pictures, and so this is the backlight. This is the cover glass. Diffuser, transistor layer, color layer. I can polarize a liquid crystal polarizer, and I can understand. Like, okay, there are just some layers of glass stacked on top of each other. If I really wanted to learn this, I wouldn't buy these cards. I mean, they're interesting. I don't know if they are even interested as a gimmick, to be honest. So these are some computers here, programming languages. Again, cool as a gimmick. Cool as a gimmick. What else do we have? What else do we have on Reddit? That actually can be fun. Definition of static linking and dynamic linking. Have you seen LGBT not allowed? What? Why is this even in math? Oh yeah, Matt Walsh and Elon Musk's Definitely the people who want the best for the future of humanity. Is Bash programming? Why is my website getting traffic from China? Interesting. Why do many 80s and 90s programmers seem like legends? Wow, this is really nice. Where can I start learning graphics programming? Oh, interesting. In the 1980s, a Japanese train station was kept open for years just so one schoolgirl could commute to class. It closed after her graduation. Okay, this is something my grandpa would share on Facebook if he was alive now. What distro should I put this on? Put on this 2009 potato. Damn, man. Nostalgia. I made a comic book. Is this AI? This must be AI. What subreddits do I have here? Games on Reddit, I don't care. Custom feeds. I have my custom feed here. Robin Williams told her Beck's fans to stop sending her AI videos of late father. Just stop doing this to him. Oh man. I hate how applied math books tend to be talkative. Okay, let's see what this person thinks about applied math books. Linux memes, technology, science. Definition of static linking and dynamic linking. I'm reading about these concepts. Static linking creates a complete executable program by binding together all its objects, files at compile time and on static link time. Dynamic linking loads object files into and unloads object files from the address space at a process when a program is invoked initially or updated at runtime. Okay. This makes sense. This makes sense. The definitions, at least if these are book definitions, they are pretty obscure, cryptic, and unintelligible. I'm not sure what you're struggling with, so I'm trying my best. An object file is a fancy way to describe code that was compiled from its textual form into an executable from form a CPU understands. Now, keep in mind, this sentence on its own, already for me, if I was a beginner, lifted a lot of confusion. It explained the most basic thing that wasn't clear to me. Again, if I didn't know this, we know what an object file is now. There's little more to it since it's not a flat binary but a container, but that's not relevant here. Another aspect of object files is that they can be unfinished. Okay, another important thing. I need to upgrade this guy. Another aspect of object files is that they can be unfinished. Normally, the CPU needs all code it wants to execute in memory, with all the calls and jumps being exact memory locations they need to go to. Pun intended. I understand the pun. This is which you might already read about. The CPU doesn't know about function names. And also why I respect this dude is because his answer isn't AI generated. You see he typed this. Most probably on a phone. Just memory locations. But an object file produced from a single .c file, for example, can miss function locations like printf etc. This is where the linker comes into play. Its job is to take a bunch of object files, and some system-supplied libraries and link them together. So every location where the object file doesn't know where to jump to, we write the location in where the function of another object file of library would be placed in the final executable. Then all object files are combined into one executable, making everything finished, and all calls to functions work like expected. Executables that work like this are called statically linked, since their functions I was confused by this. I think most probably the H here is not needed. But we have now some rather huge problems. His H might be lagging here. Your executable relies on an exact implementation and version of any library's use, so critical non-function changing patches can be applied. No, open my boy here. The executable gets huge again. To fix these problems, we invented dynamic linking. I won't go into detail how exactly those works, but the idea behind it is to delay the actual linking of big dependencies libraries until the point the binary is first loaded. To do that, we have a special program called a dynamic linker that looks at each executable's metadata, what library it wants, searches the relevant object files, and loads them into the process memory for you, and then does the same resolving and writing of addresses a normal linker does to create executables. This is a really great bar the tiny mistakes in grammar. This is a fantastic explanation. Man, you can't hit someone with Wikipedia directly. No disrespect.
We have a control CPU with initial.
I need to hit the gym in like 20 minutes, so I can't be watching anything. Is Bash programming? Why has this dude heading 1 fonts here? I think they might have just copied this from a document here. They spent days trying to format their questions. And of course, yeah, fuck! Since I discovered TMUX, I have been dealing with Bash. I have learned variables, if else, elif, blah, blah, blah. So you are all doing homework for this dude. I love this. Why is he downvoted? Advanced Bash scripting guide. Wow. Why are you referring to yourself in third person? Did you mean to switch? I mean, this guy's obviously not someone whose native language is English. Yeah. So it's Spanish. I thought he might be Indian. Bash is an interactive shell which can also interpret a script fed to it. And it also functions as a script interpreter when run with a script fed to it. It's a shell, so unlike most other scripting languages, executables in path are treated like first-class operations. So it's not meta-compiled, it's just straight-up lexed and interpreted at runtime. It can be quite useful. You can write pretty sophisticated scripts in it. So this is the document, I think, on Bash. I love these old school web pages. Okay, let me bookmark this. I'm gonna do it. I wanna do it some other time. So why is my website getting traffic from China and a lot of traffic? Some suggested to add some more analytics. Just check they have an average session of 1 second, so they're most probably bots or LLM scrapers. I love messing with LLM bots by sending back a totally valid JSON response with totally made up data. Robot scrapers, Chinese search engines, yeah, makes sense. Why do so many 80s and 90s programmers seem like legends? What made them so good? What did they actually learn back then that made them capable of such deep work? This is actually pretty interesting because what they did is all the things that we now take for granted. And I think the answer here confirms that the same stuff you can easily learn today if you care about it. Many people don't care because they don't have to care because they can just build on existing layers of abstraction. Yeah, they build the foundations of everything we are using. The foundations of operating systems, of the frameworks we use, of packages and tools we might use, the search engines, the linkers, text generators. Everything else was built back then, and we just use it like this browser. It's built on foundations that were laid 20, 30, 40 years ago. Protocols, yeah, databases. What's crazy is that these developers had limited computing power, no Stack Overflow, no VS Code, no GitHub Copilot, and yet they built Unix, TCP, IP, C, early Linux compiler. Yeah. What they actually learned that made them capable of such deep work. So what do we have here? Where can I start learning graphics programming? I'm gonna also bookmark this. How I Linux memes. I'm gonna join. Maybe I can add them to my custom feed here. So I will take a look at them some later time. Can I also do this here? Add to custom feed. Add. Why are the 1, 2, 3, the first 3 posts on the technology subreddit political? Right. Trump again. I mean, I will add it here, but I want to learn about real science, man. I don't want people on the far left exhibit strictly similar brain responses. People with some political beliefs, regardless of whether they were liberal or conservative, showed increased activity in brain areas associated with emotion. Yeah, of course. I can tell you this. I'm not a scientist. I don't care about this. I hate how applied math books tend to. Yes, let me just finish this. There's also the failed products from that era aren't remembered, used. We only here learn about the systems well built enough to still use today. That makes sense. People were really self-sufficient. I'm reading a statistics and probability textbook, and I find the writing style maddening. As a non-native English speaker, long expository digressions and extended real-world vignettes make it much harder for me to extract the actual mathematics. What kind of books are these? What I love about pure math books is their direct structure: definition, lemma, theorem, proof, corollary, lemma, a few clear examples. That's it, straight to the point. Applied math books, on the other hand, spend pages talking about casinos, dice games, or some real-world scenario that I can't relate to or even fully understand. I often have to use a translator just to get through a single page. Even when I start a story, I hate that you just got, I can't do this anymore. And let's catch ourselves some other time. I'm gonna hit the gym. Bye bye.